Is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bird Flock podcast. It's been a minute. Uh, Obviously, summertime, busy for the boy Shane, working at a day camp. I'm obviously working, but we are back. Obviously, we will never miss another week again. That's a Bird Flock guarantee. Last time we checked in with you guys, the Alouettes were 2-0. The Montreal Alouettes are now 2-2, coming off of a loss against Winnipeg 2 weeks ago and a loss against BC last Sunday. But it does not get any easier for the Alouettes this week as they come back home. They're on a short week and they are playing the defending Grey Cup champions, the Toronto Argonauts. Getting some of the boys back that were hurt. Not all of them. The roster just released here just now, Shane. So I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at it, but I will. I'll read that off when we get to it. Obviously, before we get into that, before we get into Friday's clash with the Argos, there's a lot we have to unpack. A lot we have to talk about the Owls' last two losses. If I had to guess, this episode's going to be a little longer than usual. If I had to guess, because I think the boys have a lot to say. Obviously, Shane, I know you have a lot to say, so I'll hand the mic over to you first. We can break it up game by game. Obviously, not much to talk about in the Winnipeg game, I don't think, but go ahead, buddy, and get it off your chest because I know there's something there.
Run the goddamn football.
I know.
Run the ball. I don't know what Moss, like why he doesn't like running backs. I don't know what it is in this offense that he just does not want to run the ball.
But he likes keeping three fullbacks, let me tell you.
Dude, you have the best running back in the league. You have the best running back room in the league. And it's just not being used. I don't get it. I will never understand it. I don't understand it now. It just doesn't make sense. It's going to take pressure off the O-line that just keeps getting blown by because everybody knows you're passing the ball 45 times a game. So they're just bringing added pressure and blitzing and hitting Cody an extra 15 times a game that he doesn't need to take.
Yep.
And it's just unnecessary hits that are eventually going to lead, unfortunately, to either frustration from Cody or an injury that could have been avoided.
Yeah. Like, and I want to say this, but like Cody's playing out of his mind.
Amazing. He's the exact guy that we thought we were getting with the chip on his shoulder and doing everything he can to keep this offense to put the ball in the end zone and keep this team afloat. And he's not getting the help from, I'm not going to say his team. I'm going to say from his coaching staff.
I agree. Cody right now, we'll jump into the stats. Don't get me started on the CFL stats. That's a whole other story.
He leads the league in completion percentage of balls thrown 20 yards or further in the league.
Yep. So yards per attempt, he is the number one in the CFL. Yards per attempt, he is the number one in the CFL. Actually tied with Chad Kelly at 10 yards per attempt. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Total yards, he is fourth in the CFL, but he's behind two guys that have played 5 games when he's played 4. And he will pass Zach Collaros this week because he's like 80 yards behind Collaros. VA is running away with that title, but that's a whole other story. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns, but our red zone offense has just been horrendous to begin with. And
but he also ran for 3? He has 3 rushing, 2 rushing.
Yeah, he has like 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he's thrown 1 pick in 4 games.
You can't ask for better stats from your starting quarterback 4 games into the season.
4 games into the season on a brand new team with his 2 best receivers on the shelf, you cannot ask for more.
And playing the two of 3 of the best teams in the CFL.
Yeah.
Playing an absolute dynasty and then playing the BC Lions that just look unstoppable until they went to Toronto and Vernon Adams forgot what team he played for.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. But then we look at the rushing stats. Okay. 100-yard games. Obviously, Will Stanback has none. Okay. Total carries. Brady Oliveira has 77. He leads the way. Okay. He has 77 carries. Will Stanback has half of that. Will Stanback has 39 carries.
in 4 games.
in 4 games.
And I think like 16 of them came in 1 game.
And it's not like you're dressing Walter Fletcher and he's cutting
No.
into his touches.
No. Which is, don't get me started on that. You think an offense that loses the most like slot heavy guy in Tyson Philpott, you would want an extra receiver coming out of the backfield to help with what you lost in Philpott? But no. He's not there. He's not there. It's not even like, oh, we're just benching him. No, he's not even dressing. This guy doesn't even have a jersey hanging in the locker room on game days.
This was the guy that we were the most excited when he re-signed. He was, you could make an argument, better than Stanback in the playoffs last year and at the end of the season, more effective. Obviously, he went crazy in the playoff game against Hamilton.
I guarantee you, whatever Moss and Machocha promised him his role would be in the offense when they needed him to re-sign is absolutely not what he's getting right now, because I bet you at least half the league was lining up to sign that, to call that guy
100%
before he re-signed.
Yep. And just looking at it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So of the starting running backs in the CFL, William Stanback is 9th out of 9 right now in rushing yards.
And not because he's not before last game, I don't know what he is at right now, but before last game, he was averaging almost 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's at 4.5.
There you go. I'm taking that every day. Every day I'm giving him the ball. And now everybody knows you're passing, so that's just going to increase when you give him the ball.
And to talk about the passing game now, we're not throwing the fucking ball down the field. We're so content with the screens and the little drags and the 2-yard fucking hitches.
Dude, we always laugh saying that Keon Julian Grant is like the screen god. But like, how many times are you going to go back to that well?
I know.
It's going to get picked. It's going to get, someone's going to jump her out, and it's gone. It's gone for 6. Like, everybody knows it's coming. Everyone knows it's coming.
Yep. But talking about the pass game,
I'm fully saying that Keon needs the ball in his hands. It's not. I'm saying that he does, but not at the same play 7 times a game.
Yeah, no, 100%. But jumping into the pass game now, Austin Mack might be a top 3 receiver in the CFL.
Yep.
And we signed him like 3 weeks before camp.
Disgusting.
This guy is a fucking freak.
He's so good.
23 receptions, 388 yards to lead the CFL, by the way, with 1 less game. Second place, Dalton Schoen, 5 games, 365 yards. Third leading receiver in the CFL. Take a wild guess. Keon Julian Grant.
That's crazy.
With 351 yards. Keon is 14 yards away from being the second leading receiver in the CFL.
And yet, sitting here 2-2 because they don't run the damn ball.
Like, I can't even, this doesn't, like, the Owls, Austin Mack, 97 yards a game. Keon Julian Grant, 88 yards a game. You have 2 basically 100-yard-a-game receivers on your squad when you're, quote-unquote now, I can't even say 2 best receivers, are on the bench. It's wild.
Dude, it's just crazy to sit here and think that these guys could be slotted at 3 and 4 when Ellingson and Philpott are back.
So that's what I want to talk about now, because I think we officially have a wide receiver controversy in Montreal. Like, we were nervous about this position coming into the offseason.
I think every fan was nervous about it, but man, it's a good problem to have.
Great problem to have. But if we're talking 5 receivers, you have 4 spots that are pretty much locked in at this point in Ellingson, Philpott, Keon, and Austin Mack. Okay. We saw what Courtney Davis can do now. And who am I even forgetting now? Like, that doesn't account for Hergy. That doesn't account for Jake Hardy. That doesn't account for Sneed, who was elevated from the practice squad too.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta.
Also, a guy that has not been mentioned. then Reggie White will eventually come back.
I don't even know how he fits in.
I don't know how any of them fit in. I think Danny Mac's going to be a busy guy at the trade deadline. Teams are going to be blowing up his phone for receivers, man.
And one guy, I love him. I was so happy when he came back, but he's just not having that year. Is Hergy. I don't know if it's because he, had that awkward adjustment of going to play in the States for a few months and it threw everything off. And not to say he's playing terribly, but he just seems like a kind of forgotten guy in the offense. And it was, in all honesty, I was nervous that Keon was going to become that forgotten guy in the offense. But I think just his raw athleticism made him not and made him shine. But I just think, especially when guys start getting healthy, Hergy's the odd man out, right? We already saw him get put on special teams. He was on punt coverage or punt return and had 3 holding penalties against BC.
Yeah, I think that's a guy that a lot of teams. I think that's the guy that teams are going to be calling about.
100%.
Proven in the CFL, a Canadian. Proven in the CFL, proven that he could be a number 2, 3 option in offense. I think he's the guy that's calling. I don't think Reggie White's going anywhere.
No.
I think even if Montreal were to try and trade him right now, I think there would be questions about his knee. He's going to have to prove that he's back. But I think Hergy's the guy that people are going to be calling about. Mm-hmm. Or depending on how well they use Ellingson when he's back, it's going to be Keon. That's people's phones are blowing up for. I think
if we trade Keon,
no, I'm not saying they're going to trade. I'm saying that I think he's going to be a hot commodity again. Raw athleticism, everything he's done for this offense already. 3rd leading receiver in the CFL, Canadian.
And I can only assume on a pretty good contract.
Yeah,
signed for 2 years.
This guy's just, a guy you want on your team, a guy you want in your locker room, man. He's a guy you want, and he's going to be a guy that gets a lot of calls, I think.
Yeah. And speaking of problems, we said we have a receiver problem, a good one. A bad problem, I think, right now, and officially cause for concern is the O-line. I think
it goes back to the run game, man. Just give them some help.
Yeah, because when you're passing the ball 85% of the game, these D linemen are not playing the run. They're putting their feet in the ground, they're putting their head down, and they're going after the quarterback.
And they're gonna sit there and, as a DC, I'm sending everybody.
Well, you see that. You see it happen on second and 4. They'll send 7. You see it all the time.
Dude, just he threw it almost 30 times against BC.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even account for all the times he was hit.
Nope. Or sacked 4 or 5 times.
Dude, they ran the ball 15 times.
Yeah. How many of those were Cody?
8 of them were him.
Yeah. How many carries does Stanback have?
One of them was Keon Julian Grant. 6 carries for Stanback.
That's unacceptable. That's an MOP candidate from a few years ago. And he has 6 carries.
And Antwi, not 1.
6 carries in a game that in the first half was close. You can make the call that in the second half they needed to pass the ball. They needed to get a lot back and quickly. But 6 carries. 6.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense to me. And the only thing I can think of is
in no way should your quarterback be out rushing.
Nope.
Your running back.
But that goes back to the O-line, right? I don't think a lot of those were designed to run for Cody.
No.
I think a lot of them was your O-line fleshing them out. So if you take in those 8 runs, there was probably 40 called pass plays or 40 plus called pass plays in this game versus 6 carries for Stanback.
Yeah, and 1 for Keon.
And 1 for Keon.
So 7.
Yeah. Wild. But
I don't know. I even told you, I don't know if I said it in an episode, but I know I said it to you. Even having Walter Fletcher out there leaking out of the backfield makes teams realize they can't send as many people.
Yeah.
Because someone's got to cover him. And if you don't cover him, he's a guy that's going to make you miss, man.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
He's one of those guys that can make a 3-yard loss turn into a 75-yard gain.
Mm-hmm.
You got to cover that guy. You might have to double cover that guy coming out of the backfield.
I don't get it. But and again, to go back to the O-line, I think a lot of it has to do with there's no run game. So why are D linemen and linebackers going to play the
Why
run?
am I scared? Yeah.
Right. But not for nothing, these tackles are getting beat. They're getting beat.
They're getting blown by. They're
And this so outside of the Winnipeg game where Pio Lestage was hurt and I think Philip Gagnon stepped in, there hasn't been one change to the O-line. No one switched sides, no one subbed in, no one stepped in, anything like that. And I think Marco Bruyette said it in the TSN 690 post-game show after the BC loss. After seeing what you've seen for the last 4 games and giving up, I think 22 or 23 sacks in 4 games, there's got to be a change. You have to make a change because obviously something's not working. Obviously something's not working. And I'm not going to say this because he was on the show and anything like that. And but Justin Lawrence, I haven't seen him get beat. I saw him get beat maybe once.
But yeah, he got
I know that play where he got ragdolled.
Yeah, but that's one out of, we'll say, 200 snaps this year.
Yeah, but the pressure, you see it every play. It's off the edges.
Yeah,
and it's not like interior pressure where with interior pressure Cody can get out of the pocket and make plays.
Yeah, it's also every time someone comes up, he's stepping up, which lets the D tackles get to him.
Yeah, but you can't blame him for it.
I mean, look, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the last 2 games because they played Matthew Betts and Willie Jefferson.
Which, by the way, where the fuck did Matthew Betts come out of? I remember when he was at Laval. When he was at Laval,
he was.
I showed everyone his highlight tape. I said, this guy's going to be a freak. This guy should be in the NFL. And then he went to Edmonton, and football players don't grow in Edmonton. They just go to die. So I guess that's what happened. But then comes to BC, he has 9 sacks in 5 games.
Yep. 16 tackles. 9 of them are sacks.
It's insane. That's insane.
Then we got Willie Jefferson, who I think just looks more dominant than he's ever looked in his life, which is insane considering he has 2 defensive player of the years.
Yep. Like he could be MOP.
It's ridiculous.
Insanity.
It's crazy to sit here and say that Zach Collaros has won back-to-back MOPs and might not even be the best player on his own team.
Nope. It's wild. Willie Jefferson's a freak. He's an absolute freak. But getting into the losses specifically, is there anything that really stood out? We've only spoken about offense. Look, the defense, I think, still looks good. They gave up 30-something to BC, one of which was a blocked field goal, so I'm not counting that on them. But there's only so much you can do when your offense isn't finishing drives. And it's not like the offense is turning the ball over, but the offense is just 2 and out. Driving down to the red zone, not finishing the drive. Settling for field goals, not finishing the drive.
Yeah, Joe Zima is absolutely earning that contract right now.
And David Cote, by the way, might be the best kicker in the CFL.
Yep.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
But are you concerned about the defense at all?
No.
Gave up 17 to the Bombers in the rainy conditions. I'm not concerned about that at all. But the 30 in BC, that doesn't sound any alarms for you, or?
Considering BC's points look like 22 against the Elks, which whatever. 30 against the Blue Bombers, the Dynasty Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
24 against the best team in the CFL. I'm not that concerned that they put up 35 on a team that just came out soft.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it's gonna get fixed. Like you said, one of them was off a fake, off a field goal. So
yeah,
it's nothing we could really do on that one. I mean, and it's not long touchdowns. I think if it's long touchdowns, it's like you're more nervous about it. Yeah. It's like Vernon Adams diming his way down the field, which he's doing to every other team. That doesn't scare me. Like it's not well, it scares me, but it's not like a concern that can't be fixed.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, one blown coverage and you're stopping them on second down compared to,
Yeah,
so not overly concerned. If it happens again against Toronto this week, I think then it's a cause could like starting to be a concern. As
Mhm.
of right now, I'm not concerned, seeing how they didn't even let up 35 points combined in the 3 games prior. Like,
yeah, that's also true. That's
you
all.
know,
And then just on the D line, coming into the year, he was my favorite player I was most excited to see. I need more out of Jamal Davis. I need him.
getting there though.
He's getting there. He's just not finishing.
You just can't. Yeah.
It's just I just he's a guy that should have 7 sacks at this point of the year. He's that good.
It's just he's so relentless, and it just feels like no one else is matching his energy.
Agreed. Agreed. The only one I'll say matches his energy isn't even a D lineman, but Bev. He's blitzing a lot and he's in on every fucking play. He's in on every sack in some capacity. Mondo had a sack last week. Bev was in it. I think Bev had a sack himself last week.
Yeah.
I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him.
The boys are getting there. It's just the finish is not there yet, and it also doesn't help when the last 2 games is one an insanely rainy game, so they're obviously going to run the ball there.
Yeah.
And two, BC was leading from the get go.
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball there. Like, that doesn't help their stats either.
Which they should not have been leading from the get-go because the CFL officiating absolutely blew that call on Dequoy. I don't know if am I being biased or was that the worst PI call you've ever seen?
It wasn't PI.
Like it's not even like it was a toss-up of PI.
It was in no way did he touch him.
But you can't review that.
I'm pretty sure they did, and it
That's
got overturned.
wild. Why
It was absolutely in no way PI.
robbed?
Absolutely. I mean, I know this is an Alouettes podcast, but I wasn't too upset to see my boy Dommy D get in the end zone.
But we both know, and I love VA. I think you love VA too. We both know the type of quarterback he is. If he threw a pick six on the opening drive, that fucks with his mental for the rest of the game. He's in his head for the rest of the fucking game. We saw it the week before. He threw 6 picks.
Dude, he would have immediately, it was early in the game.
It was the first drive.
He would have immediately gone back to, this is going to happen again.
Yep. He would have been in his head. He would have been,
nope. He would have said, I just threw 6. Now I just threw 1 on the opening drive. Yep. What's happening?
Yep. But no, now he's like, oh no, God's looking out for me. That was his mentality. He's like, oh no, it wasn't meant to be today. God's looking out for me. Nope. It was a pick. It was a pick 6.
And then he dropped nearly 300 on the Owls and 35 points.
Yeah, and didn't throw another pick. Or did he? Yeah, he threw no, I don't think so.
No.
Fucking
oh, he did. He did. Who got that pick?
I don't remember who had that pick.
Oh, and the Quad got one.
Did he end up getting one?
Just forgot to, unless they forgot to take it off.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Am I tripping?
I don't remember. Quad had the fumble recovery on I think it was Deontay Ruffin, which by the way, fucking sick play. The game was kind of over.
That was amazing.
But the hustle down the field like that.
That just shows you that these guys are not quitting, man. No. I don't care what the score is.
Why would they? Why would they? Like the Owls, I think, are still in a really good spot. So jumping to
they're securely in second place in the East, in my opinion, for the rest of the year.
Not hard. Not
securely. Ottawa just signed 18 different quarterbacks, and I haven't heard of one of them.
And none of them are McLeod Thompson.
And Hamilton, I don't know what the hell's going on in Hamilton, but did you hear about McLeod Bethel Thompson?
How he said, I'm not going to Hamilton.
Yeah. No, he said
I'm not going to Ottawa.
Yeah, you saw the Henoch Mwamba?
Yeah. All right, so, Shayner, we have a game tomorrow.
First game in attendance, boys.
I was going to say, are you making...
Buddy, I've been waiting all week. All week. I've been so excited all week. I'm just like, I just got to get the front.
More excited for the Alouettes or the Poutine. Has to be. Um,
I just wake up every morning and I'm just fired up to go,
3
man.
days to put in, baby. So the Owls take on the Toronto Argonauts tomorrow. We'll preview the game in just a second, give our thoughts, speak into what needs to happen for the Owls to win, what can't happen if we don't want the Owls to lose. But the Owls just released their roster, and I don't see many changes here. So on offense,
How many Fletcher's on that list?
I'll get to it. So starting at left wide, Austin Mack, left slot, Tyler Sneed is back and starting once again. We'll call him the 5R. Hergy and Reggie Sibasu. At receiver, Keon Julian Grant. At the right slot, Keon and Jake Hardy is back in the lineup. And then Courtney Davis is starting at right wide once again, which I called at the beginning of the year. I said Courtney Davis is going to come in and make his way into the starting lineup.
I know the receiver.
Never going to look back.
We forgot about Abrams before.
Yeah, and Keshawn Abrams is going to have to make his way back. But no, I'm saying this again because I want it to be my goddamn clip. Okay. Courtney Davis, I said at the beginning of the year, is going to, when he was announced on the practice squad, I said he's going to make his way into the starting lineup and he will never look back and he will become a bona fide starter and star in the CFL. Okay. He didn't get that many balls thrown his way against BC. But let me tell you, when they threw the ball his way, that was one of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Mossed that guy.
That was one of the most disgusting head tops I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I expect a lot more out of it.
I got out of my chair. I'm not going to lie.
No, it was insane. I was at dinner at my girlfriend's house and the game's on. And I was like, I understand you guys are talking right now. I looked to her brother. I'm like, but that was the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life. Oh, fuck. And then backing up Davis is Chandler Worthy, who's our dedicated American. Left tackle, Nick Callender. Left guard, Pio Lestage, backed up by Patrick Davis. Center, the boy Justin Lawrence. Right guard, Christian Matt, backed up by Jesse Gibbon. And right tackle, Landon Rice. No changes. Quarterback, Cody Fajardo, backed up by Caleb Evans, backed up by Davis Alexander. We only have 2 fullbacks this week, James Tuck and Dallaire. And at running back, no Walter Fletcher. William Stanback, backed up by Jeshron Antwi. Yeah. No changes on the D-line. Jamal Davis, backed up by Jabari Ellis. We got, I was about to say Panay Sewell. It's fucking Mondo Sewell.
That would be wild.
Mondo Sewell. Mustafa Johnson, who's having an unreal year. He's just the team. He's a dog. Backed up by Israel Antween. And then at right end, Nick Usher, backed up by Lual Uguak, who came in the game, had a blocked punt. I'm fired up. He's getting a lot more defensive reps too. I can't wait to see what this dude develops into. I'm fired up for that.
He's gonna be a star in Montreal.
Dude, he's gonna be a freak. At will, we have Bev backed up by Terrell Richards, middle linebacker. Avery Williams is back, Shangyo and Gagne. And then at Sam, we have the boy.
The dog.
Murray backed up by J.R. Reed. And then safety, Dequa backed up by Lindley. Corners are Ento and Deontay Ruffin. And then our slots, Wesley Sutton and the return of 2-pick Ciante Evans in the season opener. Ciante Evans is back playing slot. So that is the team. No changes on special teams.
That also hurt Montreal last week.
Not having Ciante was huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So that goes back to me not being worried.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not worried. So that's the lineup for the Owls game against Toronto. Anything that jumps off the page to you other than no Fletch?
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. I'll let you take this one.
No, I'm happy the receivers haven't changed much. I'm fired up. Q is in the starting lineup. Again, fired up, well deserved. But other than that, I would have liked to see some switch ups with guards and tackles on the O line. But we don't have a backup tackle, is what I'm noticing too.
I think Jesse Gibbon
Can
is
play tackle.
I think he's one of those that could play every.
Yeah. But I would have liked to see something switch up there because it's just not working. But we'll give the boys another week. Maybe it's a matter of chemistry still. And they just got to get used to playing with each other. But other than that, let's preview this game a little, Shane. Obviously, Toronto is coming into Montreal.
Humming.
Probably the hottest team in the CFL. I don't think you can make an argument otherwise. AJ Ouellette.
Leading the league in rushing touchdowns.
He's a freak. Freak.
I still don't believe that guy's not from Quebec. That was the most shocking revelation.
I thought he was like a Hicktown, Laval boy, Ouellette. And then, no, I think he's like from the South. But no, they're coming in. One of the hottest teams in the league, probably the hottest team in the league, Chad Kelly, playing really well, right?
AJ Ouellette's first in touchdowns. Chad Kelly second in rushing touchdowns.
That's wild.
Cody Fajardo's title, Chad Kelly, though.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But talking about the matchup, I think the Owls match up really well with Toronto.
Look, something about them, no matter how bad one is and how good the other one is, these games are always so close.
Yeah.
It's the rivalry that they built, man. Always so close. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't know what the weather's going to be looking like tomorrow. I think
apparently it cleared up.
There you go. Fair enough. Let's look. Let's see. Yeah. Supposed to be nice tomorrow. So hopefully that helps the boys. Hopefully back in the crib on a nice Friday night.
What more can you ask for?
Not much. Not much more you can ask for. Listen, I don't know how busy the stadium's going to be looking because there's a big name out here in Montreal tomorrow. But
imagine Drake pulled up to the game.
Oh, bet. Fire me up. He's the halftime show. You didn't know that?
Oh, Quebec artist.
Yeah. I mean, I think the boys after 2, bad weeks, I think they got to come out firing. I say it every week, but no better place to play than a Monday night downtown, Friday night downtown in Montreal. So, boys are coming in. I think they're gonna be humming.
I just think the matchup is good. Like, I think the Owls can stop their run game. Like, I think if you keep the interior D-line fresh with like a nice 3-man rotation with Antween, Mustafa Johnson, and Mondo, and you keep them fresh, I think we can match up really well. And then you have Avery Williams back. There's one of the best run stuffers in the CFL. I think it makes for a really interesting matchup that I think the Owls can actually like come out ahead in. And offensively, you have to establish the run game. Like, come out and run the ball 6 times in a row. If you punt 3 times in a row, I won't be mad. Just come out and say, we're not going to shy away from this week. This
is going to sound super crazy to say. I'm not comparing Schultz and Chad Kelly, but I'm going to go ahead and compare Schultz and Chad Kelly.
That's fair. I think it's fair.
They are both running style quarterbacks. The same thing you did to stop Matt Schultz, to keep him in the pocket and make him throw, is the exact same thing you have to do with Chad Kelly. Mind you, Chad Kelly can also beat you with his arm, but force him to beat you with his arm.
Yeah. We saw it week 1. It all those picks, Deontay Evans' 2 picks. I think Najee had a pick too. It was because the quarterback was flustered out of the pocket and you forced him to beat him with your arm. Right? I think if you force Chad Kelly to beat you with his arm every time, there's going to be those 2 plays a game where it's a jump ball that Deontay or Najee or Dequoy or Wes can come down with. I have no doubt in my mind. Mm-hmm. And if you take away the run game, like I think we can, and I think we will with Avery, with Mondo, with all them, and you force them to actually get into these 2nd and long sets where they need to pass the ball, and then you get pressure on them with Nick Usher, with Laluguak, with JD. I think they just have to play it right. I think, like you said it perfectly, they have to play it exactly like they played Hamilton. And I think it'll, like, obviously take into consideration that Toronto's a little bit better than Hamilton. But you play it that same style, just at an elevated level. And I think the Owls have a good shot.
This might sound crazy because of they can't get beat through the air, but I want to see Wes Sutton in that backfield more often.
Like blitzing.
That's what he did last year, and that's why he was a CFL All-Star. I haven't seen it much this year. I need to see Wes Sutton in that backfield.
So fucking good in coverage too.
I need to see Wes Sutton in that backfield. And it's not like you're getting screwed if you don't blitz a linebacker, because both your outside linebackers are natural DBs.
Yeah. Like Bev and
Najee. Give me Wes Sutton in the backfield, man. You know what? First play, let him crack Chad Kelly, man.
I love it. And you take the 15-yard penalty. He hits him a little late. You set the goddamn tone. No, I'm just kidding. I don't advocate for penalties. But Shannon, we're quickly running out of time here. That flew by. But your number one key on offense and defense for the Owls to win.
Offense, run the damn ball.
Fair enough.
Defense, like I said, keep Chad Kelly in the pocket.
For me, offense, I'm going to go with kind of the complete opposite of you, but throw the ball downfield more. We saw it on the first play of the season where Cody hit Austin Mack deep down the middle. Throw the ball deeper. And I'm totally okay. Get K on his 5 touches where he'll get 17 yards a catch. I don't care. Get him those touches, but throw the ball down the field. You have a guy in Q now that can go up and get it. Austin Mack has proved he's a jump ball guy. He's an in-space guy. He's a separation guy. Get the ball downfield to him. He's everything. Julian Grant Keon is a burner. Throw the ball downfield to him. Get the ball downfield. I think it'll pay crazy dividends. And then on the defensive side of the ball.
Also, I just want to say running the goddamn ball opens up play action for you to throw the ball downfield. Anyways, continue. Go.
Yeah, defensive side of the ball. Stop their run game early. Sell out to stop the run early. I think if you take that away, you take away, and it's going to be hard. AJ Willett,
Andrew Harris, Chad Kelly.
It's not an easy task. But sell out to get rid of the run early, and force Chad Kelly to beat you with his arm, I think is super key to victory. And then special teams, field goals were good. Punt, Joseph Zima is, you could say, the best punter in the CFL too. The teams have to be better though. Punt coverage has to be better. No more penalties. Maybe take
not even be better, just like less sloppy plays. Like mistakes, like unforced errors.
Because like I don't know if it's like the holding and whatnot that led to this, but Chandler Worthy broke like 3 20-yard punt returns that all got called back. So
there's
just
no
Worthy
returner in the league.
No, there's none.
No returner I'd rather have in the league right now than that guy.
None. Anyways, we are fired up for the game tomorrow.
Be there.
Can't wait. We will be there. Section J1, row 13, seats 1, 2, 3. Come out, see the boys. Drop a like on this video. Share it with your friends. Share it on Instagram. Share it on Facebook, wherever you kids hang out. Instagram threads. That's new. But we will see you next time. Go Owls, go, baby.